Quinnipiac, we see more than a campus. We see a community built to ignite passions. We see more than a degree. We see the careers of tomorrow. We see more than a student. We see someone destined to make an impact.
What is going on, EGFC, Overwatch, Lord Thiethan, and Twin Salty fans? I know you guys are out there. Welcome. I hope you guys are having a fantastic evening or afternoon so far. Get this, it's about to get even better. We have a fantastic show coming to you today. I am, as I mentioned, Lord Thiethan, joined in the booth by Twin Salty. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. You know, official EGF Twitch debut for both of us, I believe. So can't wait to, get it going on the official page. We have quite a matchup for the first one. Quinnipiac against Siena. Both about middle of the pack teams in the standings right now, but both looking, build that resume builder and just keep going up the standings.
And they've got some pretty they've got a pretty good opponent as well. Siena College, I've gotten to see them once in the past, and they just had such an excellent showing. It was 2 weeks ago with a dominant 3-0 finish. It was a short series, and I always prefer those longer, more drawn-out bouts between these schools. Really get to see the competition manifest. But hopefully we'll get that tonight. It's both these teams, I think, look really good, or at least Siena from what I've seen, and Quinnipiac from what I've heard.
Yeah, both teams looking for that big win in the MAC conference. 4-2 for Quinnipiac right now. Siena 5-2 in the MAC, sitting second and third respectively. So it's a huge game for them to try and solidify themselves in that upper half and even in just the top two of the conference. As we look at our map pool for today, we're gonna start with Busan, then head to Numbani, Hanamura, and then if we need to later on, Rialto and Nepal will be our maps 4 and 5.
I think Twin Salty, you mean hopefully later on in the series.
Hopefully, I think
I'll be disappointed if we don't get to see a showdown on Rialto. But for now, I like Busan. I'll be eager to see how both of these teams perform here.
Yeah, I'm eagerly awaiting to see as we head to Sanctuary for round number 1 on Busan. And a little bit of the similar look right now from both sides. Wanting to run the rush. Looks like Siena will be running the sim to at least get out of spawn. Probably going to swap to a tracer after the TP goes down. But it's a little interesting. You usually don't see the rush coming out in Sanctuary. More of like a dive chaos comp kind of map. But I can't wait to see what each team can bring to it. It looks like Mayonnaise as well going to be pulling out the Widow, which is very good to see.
Yeah, taking advantage of those long-range sights, and you're right. I'm a lot more used to seeing the disruption style or dive style compositions. It means that with these brawl comps, you can stage and take a first team fight here over by the bell. Looks like the anti-nade that Ace sustains is going to lead to a lethal instance of damage, taking them out of the fight. That's going to be a lack of frontline pressure onto or from Siena College. Mayonnaise on the lookout as well for an early elimination, but that was already secured onto Ace.
Yeah, and I think CJ Paul being on that May, it helps in the full team fight, but it took them so long to get there. By the time they got there, their main tank already gone. Sethri out of Mac as well, so it's going to take even more time for Siena to be a full 6.
That's kind of a brutal stagger, Twin. At that point, I might have just yielded the objective and come back in for retake.
Yeah, I would have maybe waited just a few seconds. You don't need to touch right there. It's going to be, what, a 15 to 20% difference. It's not going to change the entire game right now. It looks like Captain Kill, OG, going to be able to flank.
Absolutely marvelous. Just creeping up silently as if we're playing Valorant instead of Overwatch. That's going to be a man advantage here for Siena College. Captain Kill OG has to watch this off angle. Getting pressure just a little bit by that just AD. Just on the Diva. It's going to lead to a point flip though here. The tactical advisor from Milky Way finding Booker, but nothing else.
Yeah, now just going to have to retreat. Do not have the teammates at them. Trying to get the early pick. Almost got a life out of the way. Do eventually peek it back, and they do take out life. Both teams down their flex supports now as both teams try and look at this and There's so much damage coming in from so many different angles for Quinnipiac.
Look at how much pressure Siena College is running. You know, the Lucio speed is supposed to help escort you to various areas of the map, help contest these angles. But, you know, when you're lacking your main support and as well your Mei who can shut down some of those angles, it's just it's a tough job.
A very tough job, and especially when you don't have that second hit scan to try and peek those angles. Yes, CJ Paul is good for these team fights like we're about to have, but they met the disadvantage and a great Mei wall early.
Yeah, it looks like Mayonnaise cut off by the Mei wall, and a massive shatter does deploy from Ace, but the sound barrier was able to mitigate just a little bit of that follow-up damage, as well as the tactical visor is just a little misplaced here. It is going to hopefully reward Siena with a point capture space created, but that's not how this team fight is actually resolving. What Ace and Captain Kilo G was hoping for, it doesn't come to fruition.
Yes, they're almost able to flip that point just to get some extra percent. They're still going to try and get it. So Quinnipiac does not get to 1-win territory, but looks like they're going to be putting in 2 ultimates here to try and make sure that that is the case, as Attack Visor and Diva Bomb used by Quinnipiac. Now, the time is ticking, 90% and counting for Siena to try and get back in this. They have the window available. Maybe going to try and make some space with the Blizzard as well.
You've got to use every little ability you can. The Blizzard doesn't catch anyone, though. Just Stats is able to just navigate around it, and they do end up losing their mech in the midst of a self-destruct. A devastating anti-nade is going to slow down Siena, and the nano boost tethered onto Firewolf is going to make waves of impact. That's at least what Quinnipiac was hoping for, but with massive Rhine gameplay emerging from Siena College, finally able to play the game, the main tank will help to lead a secure of the objective, 31% ability.
They do have to use everything in that fight, though. Diva Bomb, Shatter, Blizzard, Amp Matrix. They have nothing left for this fight, but to be fair, Quinnipiac really doesn't either. Both soldiers getting close to Attack Visor, but that is really about it. As we try to get ready on this side angle, and Mayonnaise now onto the Doomfist, going to try and disrupt that backline of Life and Booker.
I like the Doomfist. It's really helpful at breaking up that rush composition, and it's already netting us a little bit of value as well. CJ Paul goes down, and although Mayonnaise is taken out of the fight, there has been a trade that's been established, and really for neither side having the advantage. You lose out on those Mei walls, and once again, you know, the ability to block off some of these angles that Broccoli was able to take advantage of is Captain Kilo G on the off angle of the flank, rather with Tactical Visor getting quickly shut down. Aced under a lot of pressure here. Can it be equalized from Siena College to keep them in this fight? There's the window and the shatter as well, but the shatters have been exchanged. Life is out of the fight. They've been able to leave a parting gift in the amplification matrix, but the tactical visor from Milky Way is more than enough to dispatch the remaining members of Siena College. It's S3's bomb that's able to shut down Milky Way, but the damage has already been done. 99%. The overtime wick is going. Can we get a touch? Cookie with a beat. Make sure that there's no opportunity for another team fight.
Yeah, Quinnipiac take it 189, but very contested, especially if we go to Mecha Base. I think that's when that Mei pick is finally going to get the value that Siena was really seeking, but as we'll see, they are going to go to Mecha Base, so I have a feeling CJ Paul will be staying on that Mei. Milky Way is actually going to match them on it. Maybe not going to match them on it. CJ going over to the Junkrat instead, only for a second though. And for Quinnipiac, I think what won them that fight is just a tad on the Diva with the peel to try and defend that Attack Visor in the backline. If that gets one or two of the supports, that is a completely different team fight than what we saw end up happening. So a huge peel from just a tad. I think that saves them the fight and it wins them the round.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see some of these fights resolve, you know, if you see the DPS more under pressure of the supports. It's a little bit harder to peel for them, but, you know, Mayonnaise and Milky Way on the Mei Reaper, they're not going to really need too much from their tanks, really just as many resources as their supports can pour into them. Already both teams on a bit of a standstill right here. A little game of chicken. Both Mei walls end up coming out on either side, so there's not too much more space to take advantage of here on this high ground. Anti-nade onto Ace is really going to slow down Siena College, though. A back up from them as they lose their main tank, and hopefully Seth3 is able to stay in mech for this fight. That's another fight loss here to start off the round, and a shatter to end the fight.
Yeah, a shatter for the exclamation point. Maybe he didn't need it,
Yeah.
but you know, it's that momentum swing. It's that mental boost, and now the stagger will be going on. Seth3 is. They They actually, oh, it's the extended stagger. Poor
Yeah.
Sethri, dude.
Oh man, talk about a mental boost. That's a mental drain.
That is a complete mental drain, and now their team's just going to take the 5v6. Not much of an option they really have, and just going to try and hold that space up top, but they're going to get met very quickly.
Yeah, Broccoli almost went critically low there. Might have been rewarding for a brief moment for Siena College. Now separated by the Maywall, split up just a little bit. Booker with their work cut out for them to keep the team together. It's going to be up to Captain Kill OG with his tactical visor if they can get it off, but they're faced up with just a tad. And ultimately eliminated. And there's still a fight going on, though. There's still hope for Siena College. That's what the calls are saying right now. Pushing onto the objective. Ace is going to be looking to get value out of the shatter, but in the presence of a blizzard from Milky Way, might have a hard time finding that angle. There's Booker with an environmental elimination. A little bit of a trade there, an ultimate for a body. And this fight hasn't resolved either way quite yet.
It's leaning towards Quinnipiac, especially if Mayonnaise can get the pick onto the map. Not able to quite yet. Another, oh, they would have been taken out if it wasn't for that sound barrier. Now can try and push in. Tac Visor gets one, forces out the sound barrier as well from Booker to keep them and Captain Kill OG on board. But this point never flips throughout the entirety of this elongated fight. And Quinnipiac sitting pretty now, knowing they still have 4 ultimates and they can just keep holding point.
And they're securing more and more eliminations, drawing out more resources as well. There's the Blizzard once again, not getting anything, unfortunately, here for CJ Paul. Death Blossom is going to be mostly eaten. A hungry Sethri is going to be able to mitigate most of that. And the Amplification Matrix looking to swing the fight here as we draw ourselves into potentially losing fight, last round territory. Ultimately, Siena College will be able to clean it up.
They will. Milky Way now going over to the Cassidy, going to be trying to deal with Captain Kill OG a little bit more at range. And Mayonnaise now off of the May, going to be going back onto that Doomfist, which seems to be a comfort pick for them. But Quinnipiac, you know, you get to 99%. You don't need to win this fight. If you drain Diva Bomb from this fight, maybe even force out another ultimate if they can build it up, you're draining the resources that you can use later on to win the following fight. And they are completely split
nice
right
wall.
now.
Oh,
It's a
that's
great wall, but it maybe does more harm than good. I think they're still going to win this fight, though. As actually, maybe not. The flank's coming in from the back.
Yeah, Ace is eliminated life as well. Mayonnaise is putting in a lot of work on this Doomfist. We saw a sneak preview of it last round, and here's the whole showing for you. Sethri looking to strike back and equalize with the deployment of the self-destruct. Does get just a tap, but in the chaos, the point has flipped for Quinnipiac University. Visor from the high ground, booped into the air. Captain Kill OG is unable to get that last touch. That's going to be first map going to Quinnipiac.
Yeah, first map, Quinnipiac. And you look at the record, you think, you know, this game could be pretty close. I think it definitely can be in the future. I think Siena just played a few of their cards wrong. And we're going to see play of the game here for Firewolf. This was the shatter at the end of the first fight on second round. You didn't really need it, but why not? You just
gotta use it.
Face. You gotta use it for the ego and for the mental. It just helps all of it start flowing, especially so early in this round and this entire match. The Maywall from Siena actually hurts them more than it helped them because it was a 3-3 split. 3 were going underneath. I think it was the Ana, Doomfist, and Diva went underneath. Everybody else was going up top. That Maywall doesn't go down. They can just rush the 3 that are there, and the pinch doesn't come in as fast as it did. Instead, they wait for the Maywall to go down to push in because they didn't really get anybody. And at that point, the pinch comes through. The Diva and Doomfist each get a pick, and Quinnipiac can finally finalize the map. I can't wait to see what they do on Numbani because Rush really isn't that great on Numbani, and both teams seem to run it quite well, or at least like to run it. So we'll have to see if they throw a little bit of a curveball into the mix.
I think that you're absolutely right. There's a pretty reasonable understanding of the Rush style composition, which honestly reminds me of Goat's comp back in Overwatch 2017, right? For that basically entire year, that Brig just spooked all of our DPS players away. So the Rush composition, though, it's a very framework-oriented comp. You mentioned a little bit of this, but there's an order of operations. You know, once that Maywall is deployed, here's what you can do after that, or here's what you can do when you don't have it. I find that dive is a little bit simpler, but you still have some of those same principles. You know, here's how we play, here's the cooldowns that we use. Heading into Numbani, I think that if both teams can continue to demonstrate a mastery of these more team-style compositions, I think that we'll get to see some really effective dives.
Yeah, I hope they run the dives, especially at this first point. You can have the Winston just keep jumping up and down, build that ult charge and then Primal Rage and just push them right off the edge, or you don't even need it half the time. But for Quinnipiac, I think the biggest thing that went right for them that last run was actually having the Ana instead of the Lucio, which usually, sorry, the Ana instead of the Baptiste, I should say. Because normally it's a little bit risky. You love having that immortality field. It's basically having an ultimate on cooldown, but they were getting such good value out of those anti-nades. It won them the very first fight on Sanctuary, and they were getting value out of those nanos, like keeping just a tad alive during one of those late fights on Mecha Base. So if they continue to get value from the Ana, from Broccoli, Quinnipiac has quite a win condition, especially with Milky Way on the Genji. So I'm very curious to see what they can do with the potential Nano Blades coming from Quinnipiac.
Yeah, Twin, I cannot figure out which one of these two DPS for Quinnipiac I'm more afraid of. Is it Milky Way with a Nano Blade and no defensive ult to speak of for Siena, or is it Mayonnaise with a nice damage boost and some extra care from Cookie? We'll have to see. Mayonnaise already looking for those early instances of damage, start working towards that duplicate, wear out some of those defensive resources from Siena. Dive from Firewolf onto the high ground is going to be confronted by Sethri on the main tank now instead of Ace. That double bubble composition thriving in the brawl, but in these early stages of this fight, looking to possibly suffer. Both supports eliminated here for Siena College. This is the opportunity for Quinnipiac to move on to the objective and take it.
Yeah, what a pickoff for Broccoli. We were just telling their praises, and this time it's not a nano, it is not an anti-nade, it's just a normal shot onto the opposing main support, and it opens up the gates for Mayonnaise to come in from behind, gets two more on that back high ground, and they just continue rolling, not giving up the momentum they had on Busan. Siena College now got to reset. Once again, they may even get picked off late here. Looks like they will be able to have all 6 members get out for now as they already make a swap. CJ Paul now on to Cassidy.
I love seeing the supports take matters into their own hands sometimes. You know, Ana is a healer instead of a DPS hero. She does mad damage. But speaking of mad damage, the focus beam kill eliminating Sethri brought back into the fray of battle by Booker's revive, and Cookie has well been eliminated by those Helix rockets. This means that Siena can push back just a little bit, but they want to play tenuously around this corner. It's an easy corner to lose, as easy as it is to hold here.
Yeah, it's a decent spot to hold, but as you said, it can be easily lost, especially with the spawns being right there. The Nano Witch, I would think, maybe coming out if they don't want to do the Blade, but I think they're looking for either option right now. Primal is popped, though, and Milky now looking for a pick.
Ooh, and then the nano tethered at the very end of it. Sethri was anti-nated, gonna benefit from a little bit of that extra healing. But once again, there's no defensible. Milky Way draws the blade out of the sheath and does miss the dash. Is only able to get CJ Paul and Captain Kill OG on the run. Deploys the tactical visor at less than 10% HP. Is gonna live for long enough though to do a little bit of damage onto Milky Way and as well find the final blow onto Mayonnaise. That's some serious damage dealt here by Siena College on the defense. Might help them secure the fight. Depends on if we can LOS this self-destruct from just a tad. Do successfully, and now Sethri with the aggressive dive is looking to thwart the rest of the attackers. Firewall going half HP and has to dip on out there.
And Milky Way going over to Soldier 76. Now he needed to hit that dash, and now going right back in, not taking too much time.
No, not at all. Tethers onto the Mercy with that Tesla cannon. Gotta watch out. Booker staying alive there. Nice Guardian Angel or nice Mercy movement just in general, as well as care from life to keep them sustained. But look at that. In the presence of the use of those support ultimates, you're going to lose the mech from Ace, and that's an absolutely critical part of the defensive formation here. With Ace being taken out of the fight, Firewolf is free to proc the Primal Rage. We do get a reconnection here from Sethri, but they're not able to stay long.
Yeah, no, gets slept, antied, killed pretty quickly on that point, just away from getting that Primal Rage. And Siena, you know, showing a little bit of fight. It's definitely better than what we saw on Busan, but still trying to grasp what Quinnipiac is running, just because, I don't know, Mayonnaise now with the Mercy Pocket still, with the Genji not being in play, is getting all the attention from both sides of the field, and we're going to be seeing how much value they can continue getting as Milky Way has Attack Visor in a sticky spot right now.
Lots of ultimates you'll see committed into this fight. It's going to start off with Life's Nano Boost. Sethri ends up getting slept once again. There's Broccoli popping off, as we've been calling during the entire series so far. We'll have to see how this fight ends up resolving. My feet is not actually taken from here, Salty.
Yeah, so Captain Kill OG has Attack Visor, gets the Soldier counterpart, and now Quinnipiac just decides to retreat here, knowing that they don't need to win this. They have 4 minutes left still on the clock, so they have plenty of time just to reset. And, you know, Siena did have to use a few ultimates that fight. Ace is still out of mech, but will be going back into the mech shortly here. So Siena, they really don't have much except for the Deadeye when Quinnipiac has 4 ultimates on the ready, close to be 5.
Yeah, and they're going to be ready to use all of those. This is, you've gotten that cart past that first corner, so you'll be able to push all the way to the end with clever use of these ultimates. It's going to start off, as we anticipated, the duplicate onto the Diva, but they're going to be quickly demeched. It's just a tad self-destruct that finds the value here. Mayonnaise unable to get the remech kill. That's all right, because we have as well gotten Sethri out of the team fight. Quinnipiac is looking really strong to take this point all the way to that 3rd objective. Booker on the run is able to tether onto CJ Paul, emerging back out with that Deadeye, like you mentioned, but unable to touch. No one was able to get on that point.
The one person that could not die early in that fight was CJ, because they had the only ult for Siena. And I think they were probably dead no matter what, because they were in the bushes on that right side high ground. But they rolled outside right next to the Diva Bomb. I have a feeling it's not where they meant to roll, but they get taken out by the Diva Bomb, and instantly that fight changes tides, because your only big ultimate that can even just be used for zoning to give more time for your reinforcements to come back in is gone. Quinnipiac know that, and they just push in from there. A great time bank for them as they head into their defense. Siena, they're the team that needs to find some of those answers right now. As Quinnipiac, they're sitting pretty, and now they have the, it looks like the double air DPS, Air Force One, coming in on the defense.
Air Force One. I've never heard of that before. I have heard of Air Raid on Eichenwald. You hide in that little cubby just behind the first objective on defense, and then you all dive out at once. And maybe that's the look that we'll see from Quinnipiac. I want us to pay close attention in this next fight to Booker and Cookie, the matchup between these two. It's not necessarily, it's not necessarily the Mercy's fault here, right? But Cookie is able to bring these tempo revives to get Broccoli back in so that Quinnipiac can re-engage very quickly. And Booker, just because Siena is under a lot of pressure, just is kind of forced to use that revive just to equalize man disadvantages. What kind of difference does that end up making as the team fight goes on?
It's been a huge ripple effect because Quinnipiac has been setting the tempo every single fight and each map so far. It has not been Siena's game to control. They're kind of just riding the waves when Quinnipiac is manipulating them, and for Siena to win, they need to change that fortune, and so far they're just not able to. And again, another reactive res because they need to keep their team in the fight.
Like I said, it's not the Mercy's fault. It's just, you sustain so much damage. You're using all of your healing resources, and then you have to use the last one. Sethri goes down, no revive to bring them back, and as well, you have aced out of the fight. Beautiful anti-nade, and then, of course, the focus beam from a potentially overtuned Echo. We won't have that conversation here because it's a very short one. She is overtuned. That's going to be the resolution of this team fight for Quinnipiac.
Yeah, and I would think CJ is going to swap off of the Junkrat. Obviously, probably didn't think they were going to be running Echo and the Pharah together. Yeah, they'll be swapping over to the Soldier 76. Not a surprise there. But Milky Way already has the Barrage. Broccoli has the Nano to keep them alive during the ultimate if they need to use it. That or they can use it on the Firewolf to build up that Primal Rage. But they're rotating these ultimates so freely now. And I think Broccoli will finally at least get pressured on this high ground where nobody even looked at them the previous fight.
It's a missile, a sleep dart, but a connection to the Bionade onto Sethri. It's going to thwart them back just a little bit. They're able to get sustained right back up, but without those adaptive shields, the sustenance in the mid-fight for Sethri is going to be a little bit tougher. You mentioned the barrage coming up from Milky Way. We'll see it any second, but first you got to get the D-Mech on Ace. Now that that condition has been met, you strike the final blow, fight off the Deadeye. Beautiful connections there from Milky Way. If I could aim like that, I wouldn't be casting Overwatch, I'll tell you that much. Forced to revive. Booker does bring Captain Kilo G into the battle, but they're quickly dispatched by the barrage.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you think it's kind of cute you think you can get rezzed and live for too much longer. I'll just ult you just for the emphasis, because why not at that point? Yeah. Milky Way's been building it up so quick. Like, all right, we can just let the other air DPS use some ultimates this fight. Mayonnaise can be looking for the duplicate, probably on to CJ if I had to guess, that or aced. Is just a tad looking for the remech around this corner. They may get it. I don't know. I think the Cassidy saw him. So they rotate around, maybe
possibly.
not. No!
Oh, you missed! Unlucky just attack, going for a little bit of a meme play, and why not? Like we've asked many times this series, the prevailing theme of this matchup for Quinnipiac. Captain Killog forced in the corner. Oh, the remix attempted as well by Mayonnaise. It's a little bit of a meme fest here in this corner, and that's going to give Siena an opening to actually push this objective. See if they can get out a tick or maybe the fight. In the deployment of the tactical visor, Firewolf goes for the primal and does find that final blow onto CJ Paul. With that, I don't think that Siena can push here. They're definitely going to try, though. No, life is gone.
No, I think at this point you're far enough in that you kind of at least have to try and fight it out, maybe build up some ultimates for next fight, and force out some ultimates from Quinnipiac, which they do. Valkyrie's forced out, they use a Diva Bomb as well, and somehow underneath the little cloth there, the bomb goes through, but Res comes out nonetheless, and I think Quinnipiac maybe getting a little bit reckless here.
You would look at that pick and say that's a win condition, but so too is Cookie's revive. There's the nano boost applied onto Milky Way's barrage. Does help to secure an elimination onto CJ Paul in that window, that fraction of a moment before they got slept. Beautiful sleep cast there by Life, but is it enough to swing the tide of battle? It doesn't look like it is. You got 4 squishy heroes down main, and with a pick on a Broccoli, there's an opportunity here to really make a meaningful push, but you're pushing into overtime. Booker with the Valkyrie is the call to action to go onto the point and start getting those picks, but Cookie with another well-timed revive. Captain Kill OG with a double kill in the Deadeye. That's exactly what Siena needs to really capture this point. All you got to do is dispatch the remaining members of Quinnipiac, and with a devastating anti-nade onto Firewolf, there's no sustaining on this point. That's going to be a first point capture.
It took them a little bit longer than they would have hoped, obviously, as it reaches OT before they cap. And now Captain Kill OG going to try and get that pick. They do with help of their Wrecking Ball. But what a Deadeye from them just to keep them in this game. It doesn't matter how bad it looks or how scuffed it is. You're still pushing. You're still in this game. That's all that they're going to care about for now. As this car continues to move already past the first corner. The overextension, a little bit too much, though, as it looks like Quinnipiac will be able to hold that first corner. At least try and push up to it with the 6v4 advantage.
Possibly trying to draw out some of those resources. Firewolf's Primal Rage would be a really good one to proc out right now for Siena, looking to go on the aggressive. There's the duplicate from Mayonnaise. It's onto that Diva. Just a very free hero to go for the dupe there. There's going to be 2 self-destructs thrown into the back blind, but it's going to be the first one that gets 2 kills. Captain Kill OG and Booker both go down, and now Mayonnaise is free to wreak a little bit more havoc here with CJ Paul. Both hit scans out of the lineup.
Mayonnaise is just having so much fun this game. You can tell. Like, they're going for some of these just so random plays. Like, all right, I'll just plot my Diva Bomb here, and I'll just, you know, shoot with Baby Diva until I get out of Duplicate. Just because why not at that point? Just over a minute left. Siena, they do have 5 ultimates. Gonna have 6 here in a second. Probably Book will have it in the mid-fight. Nice early sleep as well to force Set3 to kind of rethink their push.
But it does as well kind of bait out those on a cooldowns. And needless to say, you don't need them. You found that environmental elimination onto Ace. Good stuff, Firewolf. This guy picked up their primal tech from Goujeway, perhaps. But you've still got 5 ultimates for Siena, 6 ultimates for Siena College. It's going to be the Minefield and the Valkyrie that we see emerging first. Good to not sink all of those ultimates into just getting around this first corner. We'll buy them a little bit of space here. This Tactical Visor, however, from Milky Way, a Nano ends up going on CJ Paul. Means that the Visor is a little bit more meaningful, does more damage, and does the damage onto Cookie as well. Eliminated the fight. The supports here for Quinnipiac University are going to have to make that long trek back from spawn the tanks to re-engage.
Yeah, and they're hunting down Firewolf, trying to take them out of the action, and they do. A very late stagger onto the Winston, and now is just the Diva left behind. She, just going to jump off. Not a horrible idea there to manually reset. I don't think Quinnipiac is going to touch here. No, they're just going to let it roll in. Minute and a half, add it back on the clock, and it ain't pretty. But Siena is still in this game, and now they can continue pushing here. If they can finish with any time left on the clock, that is going to be best case scenario, because you still want that win condition in overtime, not just a draw.
Yeah, exactly. Set3 might be able to do a little bit of damage. Unfortunate miss on that pile drive. It really looked like it should have connected there. Ace demect, but doesn't proc the self-destruct to re-enter. That means that the mid-fight is going to be a relatively short one here for Siena, unless something really happens off this minefield. But with Booker going down, you're looking at, you just have to reset. Live does end up getting a trade, but Captain Kill OG on the back lines loses the 1v1.
They just lives mayonnaise, and now they're going for the ball. Once they have the heals, Nano's gonna go out on a fire. Wolf gonna try and build up that primal. Very close right now, and Milky Way in the back, in their back, just just firing shots, knowing that they can just push away the oncoming attackers. So one final fight here for Siena to try and get back to this. It's a good start. Yeah, maybe a little greedy to try and get that. You already have ult. It's not like you need to build ult charge at that point. And maybe the opening, Siena need to at least start the engagement.
I wish that we could have seen Seth3's Minefield come out this fight, but if the fight lasts long enough, they'll be able to build another one. Self-destruct thrown over the high ground, into the corridor, and it's 3! That's awesome! What a fantastic cast from Quinnipiac University's off-tank player. Looking to equalize, Ace throws the bomb, a little bit too high in the air, doesn't connect. The rest of Quinnipiac are able to find cover. Technical visor in the choke from Milky Way is a do not disturb call for this choke. And also the objective as well. That's going to be map 2 going to Quinnipiac.
To what a perfect Diva Bomb. I think it might be play the game. He'll have to wait and see. It better be. Okay, good.
Been cheated if this
it just falls. The bomb just falls enough to where it just gets into that archway. If it does not, if it is a little bit too high and it hits the roof, it maybe gets 1 on the right side. Instead, bomb just falls just enough to get underneath there where it gets in under the archway. The impact hits, it gets 3, finishes the fight, and any momentum Siena had off that opening pick. And Quinnipiac, yes, maybe got a little bit overconfident at times, maybe had a little bit of overextensions at times on their defense, but they're just rolling, man, and they're proving why they want to continue rising in the MAC.
They are playing really well. I'm anticipating. Honestly, I'm anticipating a relatively quick conclusion to this series. Siena has performed really well against previous matchups, but they definitely look a lot more challenged by Quinnipiac. Maybe it's maybe part of it is the fact that they've got their esports room and lab now, so they're playing on some really good PCs. Awesome to see the growth of esports clubs and organizations in the university. So maybe they got that those extra frames, extra processing power, helping them out.
Yeah, maybe just the little bit of help from that. Yeah, like, you never know. But we're going to go to break here just to give the teams a little bit of time to try and think what they're going to be doing on Hanamura for this map 3 and see if Siena can start the momentum of a reverse sweep. We'll be right back with you in just a minute.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for not going anywhere, because we aren't either for the foreseeable future. Looking to round out this series between Quinnipiac and Siena College. Siena on the back foot, hoping that they can bring themselves back in Hanamura.
Yeah, gonna be looking for Hanamura to, start the reverse sweep. We've seen them happen before, so we can definitely see it again here as we'll be our third map. They're going to try and force us to Rialto and Nepal, but first they got to get it done here in Hanamura. And, you know, we talked about it a little bit before the break, and it seems like the mercies for each team. Booker for Siena, and it was, actually, we have a sub for Quinnipiac. Scooty is in now on the main support, but it seemed like Booker, like, they were doing a good job. It just felt like they were getting caught out a little bit more by the DPS of Quinnipiac.
And as well, you know, you've got a couple of different kind of types of revives, and Booker is constantly having to use that, you know, let's come into this fight with 6 style revive, and you've got Cookies with these big tempo reses. You use one early, and then you're able to use another late into the fight. Interesting, Quinnipiac not having the mercy this time. Scooty to, scoot Quinnipiac around.
They're running the Bastion on offense as well. That is...
No.
See, I talk about it initially, because I thought they were swapping. They are not. Running the Lego skin. And yeah, they're just... Yeah, running Bastion with double shield and Genji. They're kind of just throwing one of their weird comps at the wall, and, you know, maybe it's gonna stick. You just never... I don't even know anymore, Ethan. They're doing some weird comps today.
Yeah, some weird looks, but hey, if anything's gonna stick, it is gonna be a Lego piece, and Mayonnaise has got that covered, already winning with that Lego Bastion skin. It was an exclusive one. I'm sorry if you guys missed out. Taking a position, an aggressive one on this high ground, looking to shut down CJ Paul, and that's kind of the strat here for that Bastion comp, is you just gotta deal with one thing at a time. Anti-nated Sethri is gonna have to back off that high ground and look for a little bit of sustained drain on the support resources as the Bastion resets up on this high ground. Is that gonna come into a little bit of trouble? Ace can't do anything against the nanoed Firewolf, swinging to winning here on this objective, scooting himself onto point and fortifying it with their presence. It's going to be a sleep onto CJ Paul. Little tragic, and a first point capture as well for Quinnipiac.
Yeah, you do still have the Mercy and the Soldier in the back here for Siena, but I don't think life is going to be too long for them, as Captain Kilo G taken out. Booker just trying to get some shots on the Scooty. But yeah, Quinnipiac gonna be capturing this point, gonna have 3 minutes added onto that time bank. And in the Genji Bastion, I don't even know what to call this comp. It's like a weird rush comp, but instead you have the Sigma in, which isn't, I guess, too abnormal. We've seen it a few times in the past. But with the Bastion and the Genji, Nano Blade not up quite yet. Broccoli halfway to their next Nano. But Quinnipiac have the resources available if they choose to.
It's Mayonnaise. Doesn't get caught up by the Shatter, interestingly enough, but Ace does manage to secure 2 after use of that ultimate. Looks like the defense will be able to stabilize, although it might only be briefly. If Siena gets greedy here, they'll get in trouble.
Yeah, and I think they realize that, yeah, let's not be greedy. We're just going to continue holding the bridge and holding the high ground. It seems like CJ Paul actually maybe tried to go out for a little bit extra there, but not able to get anything from it, and able to get out alive. Now the Nano Blade is in place, Sound Barrier in play as well if they need to give it that extra health. And Siena, they really don't have any answers for the Nano Blade. The only thing they really have is the sleep coming in from life. If they can land it, it is a very high risk, high reward play. If they can land it, it maybe saves them the fight.
Well, Scooty's already eliminated, so no sound barrier here for the attackers, but Nano Blade might just be all that they need. Firewolf casting themselves off the ledge there, making a, perhaps a noble sacrifice or a useless one. Ultimately, Milky Way will find that final blow into Sethri. Pick still coming in for Quinnipiac. And the Nano doesn't have, I'm sorry, the Visor does have a Nano tethered onto it. Doesn't need one! Although a trade was established there between Broccoli and Captain Kilo G. That's going to be a clear of the point by the Soldier for Siena. That was a nutty finish.
He does enough. That's all he needs to do there is to get those last few, because we've seen the replay here is Milky Way goes in. They're already down a few because we saw Firewolf jump off the edge, and I think Scooty gets picked off earlier in that fight.
Yeah.
So those 3 picks, there are plenty of what they need. And now Siena, Roadhog's in play from Sethri now. Maybe some more solo pop-off potential. Also trying to deal with Mayonnaise now on the Doomfist.
Yeah, we're off of, those patchwork compositions. I would call those a Frankenstein comp, but, you've got so much hardware in there with the Bastion and the Genji. Quinnipiac is off of the cyborg composition, and they're now on something that synergizes maybe a little bit better. Milky Way's working towards that tactical visor. If they build it in tandem with this nano boost, then you might be looking at a really lethal win condition here. It's going to be, Captain Killer OG finding the stun, but on the run, Milky Way finds that final blow onto them, and with this left side push here for the attackers, they might be able to find some presence on this point. Broccoli with the nano applies it to the visor, already finding value. There goes Booker, aced as well as out of the fight. The duplicate forced out of form. Half HP Echo can't stay on that objective, but Sethri might be able to with use of the whole hog, and they get shattered out of it. It's going to be the Deadeye deploying it from the high ground onto the low ground, and as they drop, they're going to be pelted down by Milky Way's damage. A shatter as well as a nano unfortunately doesn't connect with that Rhine ultimate, but Firewolf is dispatched in the process. Now on the run, Quinnipiac are in danger of losing this point, especially with Broccoli under pressure there. But with the picks going either ways, they're looking to make sure that if they can stay in this fight, they will. But that's not how that goes.
Yeah, Siena, at least they stall long enough. This round ain't over yet. Yes, they do give up 2 ticks. 69.8% is where it's at currently. And they do have to make a lot of swaps. They have no ultimates this coming fight. Quinnipiac is going to have the D.Va Bomb, going to have Meteor Strike coming in from Mayonnaise as well. But they do enough of a job there to at least keep this round going, and that's something they couldn't do on Numbani, to reset their footing and actually put in a good challenge on the point yet again. Now they're going to have to do it fairly quickly, as they cannot afford to C9 this.
There's the shatter from Firewolf. It was a jump shatter, which always looks pretty flashy, and it's really the rest of the team's utilities that's finding the value here. Milky Way using an attack visor to clear Booker off the objective, and this is all but a fight win here for Quinnipiac.
Yeah, able to close it out. 109 on the clock, maybe 9 seconds more off that clock, and Siena would have been pretty happy, but instead they need time on the clock in the time bank to have an overtime push if they do capture both points. But I think Quinnipiac, if they don't, I don't want to say troll, but if they don't throw out the kind of the weird comp that, the throw comp, I'll just call it that because it was just out of nowhere from them.
Yeah, that's
if they don't run that, I think they have like 3-4 minutes on the time bank. It just, it took a little bit of time once they swapped off of that comp to, build the ultimates again, get that economy going again. Once they did, they looked just like the Quinnipiac we've seen all series long. But Siena did show us something we haven't seen from them in this series so far, is them being able to rebound within a fight or within a map, basically. Like, we never saw on Numbani. They could never get their footing back to normal. That time, they come back. They force him off point. Yes, Quinnipiac does win in that next fight. But they at least force him out, and they win that fight to continue the map, at least for that extra minute, which you never know. It may become a factor if Siena does capture this point with time.
So look at that, Twin. I mean, Quinnipiac were only able to capture that second point with a minute remaining in the time bank. I mean, how utterly doable this is for Siena. Imagine not capturing both points of 2CP in the year of our Lord 2022.
Yeah, I think it's massively doable for Siena. You gotta think, this is the best you've looked all day.
Yeah.
So this is when you gotta start charting the tide. This is the beginning of a reverse sweep every single time as you look better on map 3 than you did maps 1 and 2. So if they can get it going here, I don't know if they're gonna expect the May, and they almost get lucky with it. They can bring this back.
CJ Paul ended up getting caught out just a little bit. Sethri, ever the main tank for Siena College, is able to step in and help prevent that lethal instance of damage. Not going to be able to stop it from being dished out by just a tad on the Sigma. A very powerful hero right now, and just one by one, Siena will collapse, and when the dust settles, it's going to be Quinnipiac University.
Yeah, Quinnipiac able to hold on for now as the Maywall maybe doesn't get the value it wants, but the Torb turret, on the other hand, is getting the value it needs. And I see a little bit of Torb going on EGF. You don't get to see him a whole lot. Been creeping back into the meta bit by bit as of recent, especially on a map like this where you can just force so much damage into Choke. Already has Molten Core, or will have it in just a moment here. But again, Siena, they do have a few ultimates going up here soon. Life is going to use their nano, I'm guessing, on the Sethri to get them through Choke.
You guys saw briefly how low Firewolf went there, and with that pressure, it's going to necessitate the nano boost. That's a massive shatter! Firewolf is able to pick up 3, and then a 4th. It's Milky Way taking the final blow, but we know that that was Firewolf's work done right there. It's in their handwriting, and they had their mark on it. And now you're just looking for that final blow, and a Sethring might be able to find it here. The stagger is absolutely brutal for the main tank for Siena.
Yeah, at that point, it's like, well, I'm dead. You know, tries to get the pin there, gets counter pin, and just staggers himself a little bit more. I'm pretty sure Firewolf got knocked into the air when that shatter occurred, so it had that little bit extra hesitation, but it still lands, eliminating 3 within, I think, the first second or 2 of it going down. Now Milky Way going to sub this for another May wall.
Oh, and it gets baited out as well. Seth3's really good at that, and there's the shatter as the hammer swings down to the earth. It's going to be only 1 elimination onto Firewolf, but unlike the other, the previous maps, there's not been a mercy to bring anyone back. He's got Kilo G on the high ground, delivering fatal blows with the tactical visor, and now confronted with Mayonnaise. And in this battle in this arms debate here, Mayonnaise might end up getting the final word, but Siena College is rooted on the objective and might be able to take this. Yeah, that they will. Mayonnaise goes down, and there's little resistance left for Quinnipiac.
Yeah, it's gonna be Scooty. Just they actually put the nano on the Milky Way. They're gonna try and win this fight still. Milky Way just gonna stall more time in the ice block, throws down the May wall, and now somewhat Quinnipiac is back. They'll have Molten Core whenever Mayonnaise returns to the point, but they were the last to die. Oh. And do not tell me okay, no, I don't think Quinnipiac's gonna be able to bring this back. They lose 3. It's great stall time though. They're taking what, another 30 to 40 seconds off of the clock, so that's Blizzard coming out as well.
The Blizzard and the Molten Core.
Wow.
Quinnipiac is making this a winnable fight through sheer force of will. They're staying in it for long enough to draw out that time bank, but ultimately the stall has to come to an end. The resources all spent, to not no avail, but a little one. Maybe that little extra effort though makes big impacts.
I think it changes his time bank from being 3.5 minutes, from 4.5 minutes to now 3.5 minutes, because took a lot of time off that clock, where they did use a lot of resources as well. Now Nano could have looked for the shatter, gets shattered themselves, and that's what happens when you maybe a little bit too much confidence in what a nano boost can do.
You know, it's the nano boost, the window, the amp matrix, as well as oh man, there's one more, that are just kind of shatter bait, like graviton surge. Like you get nanoed, and the enemy Ryan is always going to be looking for that shatter.
Yeah, always looking for it. Siena gonna be having 5 ultimates still. Only one they don't have is that nano they just used. Quinnipiac on me on the back foot of that regard. See if Ace can get this grab down.
Nice shatter. It's going to result in a DMEC onto Just a Tad, and as well totally eliminate Scooty, who is sitting on this sound barrier. Booker with the sound barrier cast was able to sustain the team on the high ground for long enough for them to really make a meaningful push onto this catwalk here. Tactical visor deployed. Oh, and the beat gets off. Not in time to save Mayonnaise, but definitely to help prevent early picks onto Broccoli, Scooty, as well as keep Just a Tad in Meg looking to contest. There's a Riptire finding that final blow onto the flex support, or the main support here for Quinnipiac, and it looks like once again, just like first point, Siena College is looking to strike back on this stall style here as Mayonnaise finding value on the Doomfist once again. What else could we possibly expect? And CJ Paul can only do so much. Look at that twin, 98.7%.
So reminiscent of when Quinnipiac just couldn't get it past on their attack, and now they bring it back. And the dying moments of this round maybe being over, 98.7%. Siena, they at least do build up a lot of those ultimates back, or at least make good progress on it. But I think it's winnable now for Siena. I haven't seen them look this good all day, and you can tell the confidence is building.
Yeah, you need them around to be there, but both Reinhardt's with this shatter. Who's going to win the mind game here? Both Ryan's going critically low, and now Firewolf under a little bit of pressure from Captain Kilo G on the off angle. Might have gotten shut down because you don't feel them big game pelted. Nice block, and the shatter from Set3 as well, but a nano boost is onto a purpled main tank, which means they can't get support from the rest of the team. They're going to go down in decisive fashion, and Firewolf will be able to live long enough to find the nano boost applied to themselves as well, securing them a place on this high ground.
Yeah, Firewolf just trying to hold on up there, and it seems like, yeah, the rest of the team with the backup, just a tad, still out of mech, but, still trying to get some value as well. As now Siena just gonna have to retreat here, have to regroup. Again, have to finish this map with time if they want to be able to win it. If they do not, the best they can do is a draw. They have Riptire, they have Tac Visor, Grab is on the way, Sound Barrier is there as well. They can get this grab off before Scooty builds a Sound Barrier, which they should be able to, could change the tide.
Absolutely, but we'll have to see how the storm, the deluge of ultimates that Siena has in their pockets, how that storm is weathered by Quinnipiac. Milky Way forced off of the high ground, eliminated by Captain Kill OG. That's a pick. It's time to go in, drop the sound barrier, and let's go, go, go. Tactical Visor on the high ground from Captain Kill OG. Might be able to find some value, but really it's just going to be chip damage. It doesn't elicit the sound barrier from Scooty, however. Able to cast that defensive ult a little bit late, maybe too late, as the nano boost onto the Tactical Visor helps to clear up 1, 2, and then 3. Milky Way is swinging this most of the series. That's 4 eliminations, and then a 5th kill onto Ace. Come on, Quinnipiac, let them have the final blow, the 6K. But they don't need it because they've secured the win. Quinnipiac walking away from this series 3-0. It's a 0. Oh, I almost said 0 and 0 at the same time.
We gotta see it again. I'm glad it's playing the game. My jaw's on the floor. I did not think there was a shot they could bring this back. Tac Visor goes out, gets 1, gets 2, focuses the soldier on the high ground. Somehow gets the Lucio in the mess of all those bodies, and you can tell at the end of that, his sensitivity, just mouse is going around, but it's like, oh my god, it's happening, we did it. Yeah. And what a comeback on Quinnipiac to actually force that, just the map to end right there, and you clean this series. It is a 3-0 sweep. They're now 6-4. That is a great place to be at this point in the season, because you had that bye week in play. So 11 weeks in, 6-4. You're sitting upper half of the standings. You were 14th going into today. So you're 12th, sorry. 12th going into today. Siena was 14th. They're going to be dropping down a little bit after today. But you're maybe reaching top 10, which is a huge thing for this school, because that builds the confidence. Now you're solidified number 2 in the MAC, and you can really look to start bringing up to those higher teams that are just above you.
And, you know, I think we're maybe a little before halfway, or maybe just halfway into the second split, and you know that's really the time to see ambition emerging from all of our contenders. Well played to Quinnipiac, really stepping up and showing us that they're more than competitive. They're thirsty for all the wins in the series that they're going to be playing in the rest of the second split.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they can do, as we have our interview with Firewolf coming up here soon. So stay with us. We'll be right back once we can get them in the call. We'll be with them in just a minute here.
Welcome back, everyone. We have a treat for you guys today. It's none other than Firewolf joining us in the booth for a brief post-game interview. Firewolf, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much.
So I have a quick question for you early on. We heard it is your birthday today. First, happy birthday
Thank
from
you
the
very
desk.
much.
How
Thank you,
did it
appreciate
play? Was it any extra excitement going in today? Like, it's your birthday, so why not? We got to win today.
Yeah, there was definitely some excitement. Definitely going into this week, I knew that it was my birthday on this match, and I'm like, oh, I gotta play. I gotta be extra motivated to play. And I think I was definitely extra motivated to play today for sure.
I saw that motivation really come out from all of the players for Quinnipiac today. Being a support main myself, I look a lot at support players, and I felt like your backline was just always there when you really needed it. Because we don't always catch everything, what are a couple of things that you noticed from your support players this series that you were just like, that was awesome?
Yeah, so Broccoli on Ana, especially with me on Monkey, like whenever we play like a dive comp and he's on Ana, I always got to make sure, like I've been having this issue recently where like he's not in my LOS a lot of times, so I always have to make sure he's in my LOS, and if I'm in his LOS, and if I'm in his LOS, I'll know he'll always have my back whenever like things get dicey or anything. And Cookie on Mercy is just like something else. She's definitely a different force to be reckoned with on Mercy. Her Mercy's really good.
We talked about
yeah,
on stream, like Cookie, she was winning the Mercy game, especially when you guys, I think, were running the Pharah and the Echo together. It is definitely a tall order, but she did fantastic today. And what did you guys think going into today? Two very, very similar records. You guys were 5-4 entering today. They were 5-5, trying to battle for that top 2 spot in the MAC. So how were you guys feeling going into today?
We definitely knew that their record was very close to ours, like top, like I think we're both within like definitely top 4 of the MAC. So we knew that this was gonna be like, going into it, we were like, okay, we have to work, like we're always like this, but we gotta, like, do our best, since this is like a MAC conference qualifier game, and since like these count for like the conference overall, we knew that we had to work extra hard for this.
And you guys definitely did. A couple of moments where you guys were able to have fun, have your cake and eat it too. But definitely it represents some of the ambitions that you guys have heading into the remaining weeks of the split. What are some of those ambitions? Don't give too many details. These other teams, doing a little bit of scouting for sure. But what do some of the plans look like for you guys?
We're gonna definitely, like, obviously we have the MAC LAN coming up in a couple weeks. Yeah.
It's a roll up the back.
Yeah. We got the MAC LAN coming up in a couple weeks, so we're really looking forward to that, to meet. Oh my god. Yeah, we got the MAC LAN coming up, and we're really looking forward to meeting like other schools and stuff. And we think we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best to try to get top 2 in the MAC, so we can qualify for the playoffs. We think we can definitely get at least like the 2nd seed.
So the happy birthday song going out of the back with your team.
That was awesome.
Any shout outs that you want to have and say before you leave tonight with the win?
Yeah, shout outs to my team. They're always here. They always got my back whenever I'm struggling. And shout outs to Milky Way, because he filled in on DPS today because we didn't have our starter Grub. So he definitely stepped up today. He's over here. Yeah, he's normally our one of our tank players, so.
Well, he played extremely well for being a sub. I would have never guessed he was a sub on DPS. He played extremely well.
Yeah, he did play. He did play really good.
Congratulations, Firewolf. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Enjoy the night with your team.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
I always love, Salty, how wholesome some of these interviews get, and especially when you got a birthday in the mix. I mean, there's no choice but to go the route of positivity. That was Firewolf from Quinnipiac, and that's not all the Overwatch that we have for you guys today. Taking a look at the schedule, coming up next is it's not as if the series wasn't really exciting, but what I'm hoping will be a little bit of a longer series, and definitely that we'll get to see plenty of big moments. It is Wichita
Southern
State versus
Utah. Yeah, Southern Utah, Wichita State. And I can't wait to look at Southern Utah. They for week 1 for them was last week. They were not in the fall split. They're coming again this split. They won last week 3-0. And you play a team like Wichita, who is pretty high in the standings. So this could be a huge game for Southern Utah to kind of put their name out there.
Should be very exciting. Definitely don't go anywhere. Stick around. We'll be right back at you with that series and some more Overwatch action.